Good evening. Welcome to God's Insight for the Soul. We are here in community, in collaboration. Bridget and I love to come together with our beautiful, willing souls who just want some insight. We're all about like, what does God have to tell us right now in this moment? And one of the things I love about relationship with God is that it's never it's always personal, and it's never anything other than this moment, right? So we might talk to Katie tonight and tell her something based on a circumstance or a situation, and it's designed to free us. And then next week, she might come with the exact same question or statement, and we might give her completely different insight because God's saying, not what's right, not what's wrong, not how to do something, but how do I shift the energy so that whoever he's talking to is freer than where they were when we started. So that's our goal tonight, is to create freedom by way of just tapping in and seeing what God has to say to us. So Bridget, anything you want to mention before we get started?
I think you nailed it. So yeah, let's just get started.
All right, Katie.
I'll come back and unmute myself. Hello.
Hello.
We're doing like last time. Are we pulling cards again?
You want to, well, you can ask a question, you can say this is a situation, or we can definitely pull a card.
I like cards because that leaves it up to the total universe, right?
Love it. So do you want 1, 2, or G?
G.
All right. This one. All right. Here is the photo.
Yeah,
Can you see it?
well, I can see the title. It kind of fits.
Oh,
I don't know what the card's going to say, but the title is like, yeah.
oh, ground yourself.
Right. Hello.
Okay. Okay. I might need a little flashlight action. Hold, please. So while I'm getting my flashlight on, okay. When you detach from awarenesses of your body and the physical world, you become ungrounded. Although it's pleasant to float heavenward, your attention and work are needed upon the earth. We're helping we're helping you balance the spiritual and material so that you can enjoy a fulfilling eternal earthly so that you can enjoy a fulfilling earthly life. So good.
Period.
Bridget, I feel like you're supposed to start.
I'm ready. So
Okay.
yeah, I will jump in here. And Katie, even before your card was pulled, I just got this really like motherly wrap around, like holding you as if you're laying flat on a bed, and this motherly feeling holding you from this side, not like a hug where but your back's on the bed, and then this motherly, that's the feeling that I kept getting, was that you're being held in this cocoon, if you will, space, and just holding you. And then I kept getting this, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, and this motherly feeling of going, just be right here with me. Almost like the way you like cradle a child when they're sick, and you just kind of hug them and hold them and tenderly. That's the feeling that I kept getting even before your card was pulled. And so I think it's interesting. I just had this conversation yesterday with somebody, and she said, her words were, there's some people who I feel came to this planet and like to be in the ethers, if you will, and they like to have that feeling. And she said, I am not. She said, I'm somebody who came to have a physical experience. And then she said, because if I came to do all that, I just wouldn't have come. And I thought that was such a pretty way to put it, that yeah, sometimes it is really fun to detach and play with energy outside. And sometimes our experience is meant to be held and caressed and cared for. And this calling right now for you to slow down and allow yourself, give yourself permission even to be cared for, not just the caregiver.
Do I tell you that I'm sitting in a hammock that is like my little cocoon? Like a
Oh,
around and it swings. I'm trying not to swing right now.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's interesting how, Emfrey teaches we are 100% human and 100% spirit. And the laws of something like manifestation, we call those spiritual laws. But without being connected to our body, spiritual laws don't work, because spiritual laws are for the human experience and human laws are for the spiritual experience. And that is everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. And so we have been so conditioned in this physical existence that spiritual and God and their love and they're good and they're kind and they're, when in reality, there's spiritual laws and there's human laws. And anything that is on either side can be overused and abused, can be underutilized. Can't, like, for example, one of my favorite ones is like this whole idea that we think that when we want more and we're in this place of more, that's bad and wrong. However, if I told you, you can never pray again, you cannot know God more, you can never kiss your kids again, you can never have sex with your spouse again, people go, well, then what would be the point? Exactly. However, if we're not accepting of our human experience, we actually negate the more, right? And so what's coming up for you, like really deep in this, is this desire to really get intimate with your physical body, to reacclimate. When we look at kids and they learn to self-soothe, they suck their thumb, they rub their ear, they rub on a blanket, they're self-soothing their physical environment as it lines up with the energetics of the world around them, right? And then we grow up and we let go of that self-soothing, yet financial abundance can't come to us if we can't self-soothe the immense power that is a pre-cause of financial gain from the perspective of money being power, right? And so just looking at this transition that you're in and your availability to make money and have money and all the things, but you not doing it and it be fun and like holding on to the fun of it when the money comes, right? Because then it becomes responsibility and all the things. So then you go, okay, I don't even want the money anymore because it's not worth this fight that's going on in my body. Where when we learn to self-soothe in that physical, it actually expands our power, which then allows all of these physical elements to come in and then be pleasurable, because we're learning how to navigate pleasure through our physical sensations. So with all of that, it's just this beautiful, like we don't negate one side or the other. We look at how do we integrate the two in order to have this fullness of the earthly experience, because it is one and the same. You can't have a spiritual experience without the human, and you can't have a human experience without the spiritual, right? And yet consciousness, like as we are immature in our consciousness, it's, oh, we're human beings having a spiritual experience, and then we evolve and then we go, no, actually we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And then if we evolve even more, we realize, oh, actually I'm just a me having a me experience, and it is human and spiritual and all of it. And that's really where flow is found. Flow in the receiving and the keeping and the holding and the creating and the resting and the celebrating, and the all of the pieces and parts are where we just let it all integrate. But I think for you it starts with that ability to start finding the pleasure in your physicalness. Yeah.
Words. Yeah. No, and we talked about this the other day with me and my art, and that's why because it was heavy. The work was heavy, and it was like, it's not worth it. It's not worth the stress. The money is just an object that was not making me happy, right? But
Yeah.
the actual physical creation of the art and the pieces that I just use as my way of flow is what makes me happy. But then it started to feel like I was selling my soul. And so I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done. And I cut it off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And now we go, what's next?
yeah.
Yeah.
Learning to ground myself back into
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I love, Lori, like bringing it back to ground yourself in all things physical. So I love that added nugget of, it's not just ground in your body, but ground yourself in all things. The money, finances, money is something that we have to, like, we just, that's how we live. Like we, right? So I love that added bonus piece there. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, well, when there is one participant, we want you to get the benefit of the group experience. We talked about this the other day, that like you being in the story, right? You're going to get some download, you're going to get some insight, right? But there's still this aspect of it was still your story. But we know that the thread that's going to weave through tonight is connected, right? So Bridget's going to pull a card, I'm going to pull a card, and it will somehow relate to even where we started with you. But when you hear Bridget's insight and my insight, you're going to be the observer, not in the story. And so you're going to be able to actually grasp and gain more from this experience. And usually when there's 2 or 3 people, you can do that with each other. But when there's only one, we want you to still have that experience. So I'm going to pull a card for Bridget. Would you like George, Sam, or Harry?
Sam.
All right. All right, let's see. Okay, here's what it looks like. That's very pretty. All right. Integrity. Align your actions so that they match your values and inner knowingness of what's right for you. here is something, the first thing that came up when the what's right for you, if you've been around our container at all, if you understand M-free, and if you don't, it's very cool. Ask us about how you can learn more. But one of the things that we talk about is if our greatest suffering is in the perception of wrongness. And even though there is a what's right for me may not be right for you, for some reason when I read this card, and I love where I started out with, this is about freedom. Because if we're even trying to line up with what's right, and we don't realize that there is an energy of getting it right instead of the belief that we already are in right standing with God, we can be deceived in what feels right for us, because it might be aligning more with our cognitive understanding of right and wrong, or our neurological programming of what is right or wrong, instead of simply tapping into what is freedom for me in this moment. So what I would like to do is reread this card and shift that word a little bit and see how it might land with a little bit more expansiveness. Integrity. Align your actions so that they match your values and inner knowingness of what's freedom for you. Oh, that made my girl parts Twitter beat. Because do you guys feel how expansive that is to go, I don't want to be right anymore. I'm already in right standing. I don't need to be right. I don't want to be right. That freedom. And so, just in that shift of saying it is the insight of the permission to release the perception of right and just say, is whatever I'm doing in this moment, is whatever my actions are in this moment, do they match my values of inner knowing to create freedom? Or am I still trying to get it right? Line up with what's right. Am I aligning with freedom in this moment, which then will produce more freedom? Or am I aligning with what's right and will actually produce more bondage? Because now I have to stick with what's right, instead of my right standing with God allows me to have freedom in all that I do.
Yeah. 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 So good. And it's such an expansive feeling. It's limitless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how I feel like this is like so good for you, Katie, as well, is just this permission for you, because I think that you came to the planet with an inner experience of that freedom, but due to a lot of religious beliefs, due to a lot of just family programming, there's a lot of that get it right, do it right, be right, all the right? And the permission for you to not get it right anymore, ever again. You have permission to just be free instead of be right. Yeah. Mm.
That one, so coming in on that background, I'm wrong just by being a girl, right? In theory,
Mm.
just because I'm female, it's wrong, you know. But freedom and the word integrity have been like heavy on my heart and my mind, because freedom is actually like one of my it's probably the top two, one of the top two personal values that I
Mm.
have for myself. It's freedom. And then integrity is like that word has been used around me a lot this past year and a half. Like you are your word and you're in integrity when you're authentic with yourself and who you truly are as a soul, as a spirit, as a being, as a, whatever, a human, you know. And so those two words used together, it's like, huh, it really makes you think. But yeah, no, the background, it's like, yeah, I was born wrong because I was a girl, you know. I was like,
Mm,
so I fight with that constantly. So yeah.
mm, so good.
I love that.
Mhm.
All right.
All right.
So who wants to pick the deck for my card? I'm gonna move the decks around.
I think Katie should pick the deck.
Okay, Katie, do you want to pick Gertrude, Anna, or Georgina?
We have to go with Anna because that's my granddaughter's name.
All right.
Oh,
Well, one of them.
All right. I love how sometimes we'll pick three cards, and even though I move the deck, we pick out of the same deck. And tonight I moved the three decks and we picked one from each deck.
well, that's fun.
That is fun. Okay, here's my card.
Mm.
All right. Oh, this is very small writing. Hold on. I really do need my flashlight again. All right. Breathe. This moment matters most. How can you focus on the moment and appreciate all that is well?
I love when the things that really pop are again what we've already talked about. Love when that happens. But the first thing, Lori, with the image on the card, I got, oh, such a thinker of universes. And
Mm,
I do like see you as such a broad, you don't do anything you don't do it like this. You do it big. And so then that whole breathe, this moment matters. And what hit was like, because you don't have to get it right. That whole
mm,
piece about getting it right.
mm,
And I love that. So, Lori, as my coach, has taught me how to not get not has taught me how to search and live in that freedom piece. And yet also as Lori as my friend has that same invitation to live in
mm,
the freedom and not get it right. Like,
mm,
I love that universal picture in this experience to share with you. Like, I see you in helping Katie and me and everybody else who come into your container and to help us see that opportunity. And then to sit here in this moment and go, and girl, you're in right standing too. Like, you are already in right standing. You don't have to get it right.
mm. I love that so much, and I love again when Bridget and I started this whole thing. I don't think either one of us knew how much we would grow through what we're doing, but this is the very thing I love because I am finally in a place where I acknowledge, right? It's the here's what my head believes, here's what I can cognitively recognize as being embodied, and here is the embodiment, right? And so before I could say, oh yes, I believe that I how do I want to say it? Like I know that I'm teaching being in right standing, and I know that I'm not in right standing and I'm on the path, but I didn't cognitively know that I didn't really know that as much as I thought I knew it, right? And so then there was the gap of the embodiment, right? And I'm finally going, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, like, I finally am realizing that I didn't realize how much I wasn't embodying it, right? Because I talked about it all the time and I could see it for other people and I could see it. And so I really thought, because I talked about it and I believed it so much in here, that I was embodying it. But the experience of my world was very much continuing to show me more and more that that's not what I was believing. And so I love this opportunity to freely, because even 6 months ago, I would have said, if you had given me that beautiful insight, I'd been all internally, I would never do it externally, but internally, I would have been like, I already know that. Like, girl, don't you know, I already believe I'm in right standing. But the freedom, again, coming back to the freedom to go, yes, no matter how much I've embodied it, there will always be more of that. And so the rejection of the need for it is no longer there, because I don't have to prove anything about that I already am, right? And so I guess I'm just verbally celebrating how good it feels to genuinely sit here and go, oh, I receive that as the coach of coaches, right? I get to receive all of the stuff just like everyone I teach it to and want it for, and all of that. And just that feeling of really being able to fully open my heart to you guys, to, right? Because in order to receive that, I have to open my heart. And when I open my heart, I'm opening my heart to connect intimately more with you guys. So I thank you. And I receive it all. And I love it so much. And I'm so grateful to be in a container where we all get to truly feed off of each other in this experience.
Mhm.
So thank you guys so much for allowing me a safe place to receive as much as I give.
Mm. Yes, thank you.
So good.
Yeah. It is so good. Yeah. And that humbly receiving, like, is a beautiful, right? Because it is one thing for um for somebody to say, oh, like if I get a new haircut and somebody, oh, I love your haircut. And we go, yeah, I know, I look good. It's very different than to, oh, I love your haircut. And we go, thank you. Like, those are two very different things energetically. And so to
Yeah.
watch you receive is also just a beautiful invitation then for us to mirror that.
Mm,
Yeah. So thank you.
so good. Katie, thanks for coming tonight.
Totally. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Sway in my cocoon.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. Well, if you're watching this, whether it be tomorrow or a year from now, I hope that we still have our link down in the description for you to schedule yourself a spot here on God's Insight for the Soul. And until we meet again, be blessed.
Yes.
Bye.